Okay, this is Unity tutorial 6.0 prefabs. Mm, so, um, if y'all haven't created the prefabs folder already, I know we talked about making it before, but if you haven't, go ahead and create it. I'm gonna delete mine and then recreate it just to walk through that. So create folder up at the top, prefabs. Okay, so now we have our prefabs folder. Um, So just to review, we have like our four main windows here. We have our hierarchy, our scene, our inspector, and our project. So the hierarchy is all the objects that are currently in our level. The scene displays everything in our hierarchy, right? So we click on wall and we can see our wall in our level, right? So say we're done with this level and we want to make a new level. Um, if we go to a new scene, notice that it just starts us off with the main camera and the directional light. We don't have anything. If we want to create, if we even want to control a character in this scene, we have to create a capsule, add our third person controller, um, set up the controller, uh, add the controller. It's not even added. Add the character controller, drag the character controller into the slot, make sure the gravity multiplier is set to something we like, and then maybe this gravity is different than our other scene. That could be annoying. We're not really sure. We have to give it its color again. We have to child the camera to it again. We have to position this where we like it, which might be hard to get exact. And so all that steps just to reset up our player, right? So I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Let's go back to our original scene. So I'm going to open the scene folder. I'm not going to save that scene. So what we can do is we can take an arrangement of objects, of game objects, and their settings. So player, which already has all this stuff set up, already has a color, already has a character controller, already has a camera, and a position that I like. We can take all this stuff and we can do what's called create a prefab out of it. Okay? And so a prefab is like a selection from your hierarchy saved in your project folder, which means since anything in our project folder we can use between scenes, like when we make a new scene, we have all our materials still. We can use these prefabs in new scenes. And so, for instance, if I take this player, which is all set up, and I just drag player into prefabs, I now have a player prefab. And you can see in the inspector that all the settings are the same. It has a camera on it, um, has a third person controller with the gravity and the speed I like. It's all set up. So when we create a new scene, I'll save that. You can see we still have our player here. We can add a cube for the ground. Make it big, not too big, but flatten it out. I'm going to delete this extra camera because our prefab comes with one. So delete that main camera. Drag in the player, move it up a little, and hit play. And bam, we're playing already, right? We've started our new level. We can already jump in and test it. This is a small level with no challenge, and I don't know how to win. Oh, I lost. But yeah, so that's kind of the power of prefabs. Now, I'm going to go back to our other scene and not save that. I don't need that level right now. But just to practice, I want to create a couple other prefabs. So um, first, let's look at our moving platform, which we made last video. So our moving platform has the moving platform part, the cube, but it also has these waypoints, right? And these waypoints are really handy because they're already linked to the moving platform. They're already in a kind of good position. And I mean, if we just move them, so say we move one up there, we move one down here. If we can just move them, and we get a completely different moving platform. We get a moving platform that's moving up and down at a diagonal angle now, right? Um, so but the point is that it's editable. Like as long as we move the yes, long as we move the waypoints, they're still usable and they stay connected to the script here. So what we should do is, actually, I'm going to right click on moving platform, create empty, and that's going to create us this empty game object, which is in the exact position. Notice it sets to 0, 0, 0. It's in the exact position as our moving platform. I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to close that. I'm going to rename it moving platform prefab. Okay. Now I can drag moving platform and the waypoints onto this object, and it's all tidy in a little package here. Now the reason we don't just drag the waypoints on a moving platform is moving platform moves, and so our waypoints will move. And if our waypoints are moving while the moving platform is moving, the moving platform will never reach our waypoints. It'll just keep flying, and the waypoint will keep moving far away. So we need these to be separate, but we can contain them all in one empty game object, moving platform prefab, like a folder, in order to save them together as a prefab. Okay, so now we have two prefabs. So now we can set up a moving platform and a player and a new level without having to do all that extra work, making sure everything works again. This door and key pair could go together really well. Now, even though the key is set to this NPC, what's most important, I think, is that the key and the door together, because the door doesn't work without the key, and the key is useless if there isn't a door. So let's create an empty, and let's name it door and key, and we can drag our door and our key, and sorry, the way that I'm selecting both of these is I'm clicking on one, holding shift, clicking on the other, and dragging those into door and key. And I can drag that into my prefabs folder, and now I have a door and key that are already linked together. The door is already linked to the key, and I can set those up in a new level really quickly. Another one, the NPC is good to create a prefab of because it has this trigger collider, and it already has some stuff filled out, but the dialogue text, the canvas here, would have to be reset up. Now we could just, it is handy to create a prefab of your canvas, so then all of your text looks the same, your dialogue and your collectible and all that stuff, but that is something that's going to need a little more setup no matter what. Another thing I like to pair is the collectible and the collectible manager. Now these things don't necessarily move, so I just like to child one of the collectibles to the collectible manager and drag that in, and you can always duplicate that collectible, and it's already set to collectible manager. That's how you get the rest of the collectibles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Besides that, the NPC, yeah, I'll drag it out. And the canvas, that's a good one. And the canvas needs an event system, but maybe that automatically gets created. I'm not sure. We'll take a look. But yeah, that's creating prefab. So these are all things. This is all work that I don't have to do again. It's really helpful, really, really, really helpful. These are also things that you could send to other people, like the first-person prefab that we download sometimes. Now we have like our own prefab like that, which means we can make levels and test them really quickly. Okay, that's the end for